Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to your Sunday turning. It is Conversation with the Love Crusader, and we are super excited to be coming your way with another wonderful edition. Today, I call it my vacation edition because I'm on vacation, but still trying to connect. So right now, I'm actually talking to you and connecting to you from the what did they call it earlier today? Broadbat Beach in Dundee. Yeah.
Interesting.
So in case my network starts shaking, you know it's because I'm at the beach. And my co-host is ably and capable here to take over in case, I just could not resist coming online today. We don't want our viewers to be left hanging because we started a very interesting topic last week and we need to deal with that topic and, really, really conclude it today.
Okay,
So,
you're like,
without further ado, can you hear me?
yes,
Yes,
we
we
can. We can.
can.
All right. All right. That's good. Just let me know in case I start breaking or I start going off. Um, So, without further ado, let me introduce and welcome once again for the second time to our platform, Omo and Sweetness.
Aya,
They
aya.
were
Come on, sweetness. That removed me from the equation.
ah, it's Samuel and Sweetness. So, it's only one person that is Omo, only I is Sweetness. The thing, don't be angry. You know we are
Wow,
Omo
two
Omo,
shall
so the
become one.
connection, me and her.
Two shall
Then
become one.
she's sweet again. I like that name, Sweetness.
Yeah.
So maybe that is why it's Samuel and Sweetness, everyone. Welcome to the platform. You want to say
Hello.
hello to the viewers?
Hello. Good evening. Good morning. Good afternoon, wherever you're watching from. You must say hello.
Yeah. Good evening.
Bless
Good
you, bless
morning.
you. And my
From
good
from all over the
evening.
world.
Yeah, welcome, welcome. My network is not so strong, but I hope that you can hear me all clearly. And my co-host is here. We're not taking it for granted that she's always there. Titilayo, say hello to everyone. Our beautiful and brilliant co-host. She's here too today. All right. Hopefully we can really, really get to be able to deal with stuff before our network gets too mushy mushy. Um the topic is love and conflict. And we've tried last week to do a bit of definition, talking about love, the beauty of love, how good love is, and wondering why love should even be involved or should be characterized by conflict. Why should there be conflict when we talk about love? Because love is beautiful, love is patient, love is kind, love is everything good that we know it should be. But we kind of find ourselves sometimes we have what we call the lovers fight, lovers quarrel. It's even as if it's the people who love themselves that fight most or that have the conflict most. I don't understand. So why? So that's my first question today. That's where I'm going to start from. Why, in your opinion, Samuel and Sweetness, is it as if those who are the people where they love and then they fight past? Let me say it like we said our local parlance. This very, very sweet people. They seem to be the one who fight most. Why do you think, in your opinion, why is it like that?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, well, I think possibly the should I say the amount? Then say, do they quantify love? Either ways, I feel the more one loves someone, the more you understand or the more you find out a number of things about that person. And then basically what causes conflict is differences, disagreements. This is how you view things, and this is how I view things. And so I love you to a point where basically I know so much about you. I've seen you in different phases of your life. And then again, those different phases will come with different things, and those could actually be things that we could lock heads on. So if I've seen you in your good, your bad, you're vulnerable in something, because if I say I love you deeply, that means I have been through a number of stages, because I don't feel it's that one day love that is that I love you very well ahead. So I've been with you through stages of your life, and then I have understood, or well, I would like to say understood, because if I understand, there's not supposed to be conflict. But then again, that happens. So I've been with you through a number of things. I've seen you through a number of things, and then we hit our heads together because I have understood, or I just feel I've seen this, I've seen this, I've seen that, and then this is how I feel. Maybe you should act in this certain way, or this is my own reaction to this, and you're not reacting that way, and then there's an argument, there's a conflict, there's something that just goes wrong. Yeah. So I guess so.
Okay,
Okay.
so yes, it is important, and I think it is almost needed for every persons who are in love to have a bit of conflict once, yeah, once in a while. Because the thing is, it's only the person that you're in love with that you want to stay with. And in order for you to want to stay with someone, you, because you're coming from different backgrounds, is that you always have conflicts at some point. And because I want this to work for us,
The errors that
and
need to
so there'll always be, I need to correct this, I need to correct that from both parties. So conflict is almost very, it's almost inevitable when it comes to relationships,
love relationship.
partnership, love relationship, marriages, even at the office, or with friendship, because we want it to work. And in order for it to work, because we need to sort out our differences, those conflicts needs to be sorted out, no need to be talked out. So that's why I feel that it's very important that, in fact, I don't think any relationship will even stand the times of trial if there's no conflict.
Hmm. Hmm. So it's not even just that conflict happened. You're saying it is necessary. It has to happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it has to
Very,
happen.
very
Titi,
important.
what, Titi, do you agree with that? That conflict is necessary. We really need it.
Well, I think that it depends on the level we are at in our lives personally. Because sometimes conflict is a product of where where you are at your own journey, you know. So for both parties, where you are at and where the other person is at, because sometimes you get it, the other person doesn't get it. So if both of you are at a certain place where you get it, you know, I won't say there won't be conflict at all because we are human, and we come from different backgrounds, right? So I would say that the frequency of the conflict will reduce drastically because you both get it. You both get it. So, but when one person is on their journey somehow technically ahead, not better, not superior than the other person, but one person is technically ahead of the other person, then there's tendency for there to be um conflict. You realize that as you grow older and you begin to come to this level of maturity, both of you realize that conflict begins to reduce. Nothing has really changed. Sometimes nothing really changes. They are still the way they are. That thing that irks you about them is still there, but you just know better. And one of the reasons why there's usually conflict is the fact that you feel that this person loves me. You feel that the person that loves me should know better, which is not the case most times.
So
If you love me, you should know better.
should we say that expectations breed conflict? Is it
Definitely.
safe to say expectations breed conflict?
Definitely. You shouldn't have expectations.
You're muted, Titi. I'm trying to unmute you. It's not unmuting. Can you unmute yourself, please?
I have done that. So can you hear me now?
Okay, now, yes. Sorry, you can come back.
Eh,
So you
So
were
I was
saying,
saying
talking
that
about expectations.
I'm saying that that's not to say that you shouldn't have expectations at all. It's just about managing your expectations properly. Because sometimes some people have too low expectations, there would be conflict. Then sometimes they have over bloated expectation, unrealistic expectation. Definitely there will be conflict. So each day we try to find that balance, how to balance it and manage our expectations by putting your would cure all this excess or low expectations. So yeah.
Okay, so it is not to say that it's not to say that like some people will say where there's no expectation, there's no disappointment. So we should not have
Mba,
expectation.
mba, mba.
Uncle Sam, let Samuel tell us. Should we even have expectation at all, or just to be on the safer side, we should not even have expectation? Which one will you advise?
Hey,
Because I don't want quarrel. For the sake of national peace, let's not have expectation, Abi. Tell me.
No, I think the whole point of this expectation is that it is normal for human beings to have expectations. But since we're not on the same wavelength, sometimes it is difficult for the other person to just deliver. Now, I and my wife usually have expectations on different issues, and she expects me to somehow telepathically just understand that in this moment I want this. And sometimes in that moment, all I'm saying is, just tell me. I need you to talk to me. Tell me. But I've come to understand that in these years that we've been together, I need to start reading not just the voice. I have to start
reading mind.
reading minds as well. I have to start reading body languages. I have to start reading the moments leading up to those questions, so
very
those
important.
expectations. So I've learned I've learned a lot that when it comes to the opposite gender, the expectation level is this, and so
without
somehow we have
meaning
to.
without meaning to defend my sister and my namesake Omo, I know that there are hints. We usually drop hints. Abi, sister Omo, do we not
you.
drop hints?
Thank you.
You're supposed to
Yes, we
pick the
do.
hint. Tell me, tell me. Tell me.
Because I expect that me and you were in this thing together. You understand that this, if you do like this, I will react this way. Then why you not
Mhm.
expecting me to say do like this? Like nigga.
But not okay,
Nigga,
Either way,
bro,
I don't
Samuel, I'm with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. You are not alone.
the thing is, I understand that okay, we're in this together, and you want me to somehow understand this thing, but the way men think and the way women think are not the same. What what women think as a problem is somehow very it comes easy for us. Like, is that what you call a problem? Okay, I'll take an example of what Pastor Kisley once said. He said they just got married one time, and somehow the wife was carrying face all over the place, and in his mind he thought that the wife was fasting. I was like, I just married this wife, she wants to come and beat me in my home in fasting. So he too started carrying face that they are both meditating, that they don't want to talk to each other. I mean, why somehow he doesn't even understand that there's a quarrel somewhere.
that's why you not ask a question. Why are you carrying your face? Because at some point, women, we don't want to just be as fast forward. Like I expect that if you see my mood, you understand you're living with this person, you're married to this person. If somebody is carrying for you, you should understand that okay, something's upsetting this person. And then you guys already have the understanding that if I say it's not okay or it's fine, is that it's not fine. So you don't need anybody to come and preach to you and say when she says it's like this. Just follow
But
suit.
why the
No,
confusion now?
no,
Why
no,
don't you
no.
just say it's not fine? Why is your yes no, your no yes?
You want to build momentum.
No, no. The thing is, it's fine to have expectation. It is normal to have expectations, especially in young marriages. It is normal to have expectation. Why? Because the thoughts you had
Yeah, going into
going
marriage.
into marriage, you felt like, oh, once I get into this wedding, if I get into this marriage, from Monday to Sunday,
Peace
this
of
is how it
mind.
is going to be. But young bro is thinking about something else, and she's thinking about something else. It somehow doesn't just work. But the thing is that we both need to start talking and communicating
Communicating.
and start saying that, okay, this is what I expect, these are the things I expect, then I build from that place and say, okay, since you expect this, I need to do more. So I need to beat your expectation. So, but if you don't give me a
Okay.
baseline of what I need to work with,
You need think some.
somehow it's very difficult for us to understand your expectation.
You go need think some of
I
them.
agree with you. I agree with you because I'm one person that is how do I call it? I'm a I don't want to use big English, protagonist for communication. Say it as it is, like, bro,
Yeah.
I don't like this thing. Sometimes I might not even say it nicely, but me, I've said it out. And when I say it out, it's finished. The only time it's not finished is if you do it again after I've told you, Auntie, I don't like this thing, you're gonna do it again. That time I'll become provoked. Anyways, but let's not make it about me. But I also like the hint dropping because I know that most women like you to be able to read them. It just makes them feel like you are in sync with them.
Understand?
And it's kind of like a safety net for a woman when she feels like my guy gets me. Am I speaking for the women folk?
Yeah.
Hello, sisters.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
kind of feel very safe.
Well,
When they feel
well,
like, okay, my guy gets me, I don't even need, before I mention the need, he has taken care of it. That is my best kind of man. In fact, you can buy me a gift, for example, that is worth 100 million, and I may not appreciate it as much as that one that was a need that I didn't mention. If you just
Yeah.
observe by yourself that, oh man, this babe needs this thing, you go and get it. Oh my God. Because for me, it's not about that gift, it's the thought. Oh, you thought of me, you understood my need before you decide to go and meet it. And I think that's most how most women are wired. Except for Titi. Titi is a very, very straightforward person. She says it as it is. It's not like us dropping hints
no, no,
to
no, no,
confuse
no, 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 no,
anybody.
no, no, no. Na,
Okay,
na, na, na,
okay.
na,
One
na,
thing
na.
Titi said. So we go into the nitty gritty of the issue. I want us to address one thing Titi said, talking about conflict. She said the older people get, maybe staying together, being in marriage together, and all that, the easier it seems for them to understand each other, and so conflict reduce. So my question from that would be, why do we still have people who divorce after 40 years of marriage? I mean, I met a very beautiful 65 years old woman not too long ago, and she just left her marriage of 40, yeah, 40 what years? 44 years? She said she was about 19 or so when she got married to this man. She's been with this one man all her life since she was a teenager, 19, not even 20 yet. And now, after 40 something years of marriage, they just divorced. And I'm like, what happened now that did not happen since 40 something years? You would have expected that at that stage, they don't have that conflict big enough to break them up. Let me put it that way. But we still see these things happen. So, what do you have to say about that? Can Titi hear me? Because she seems to be frozen. Okay, Samuel, do you want to respond to that? Why do you think? I know you are not that old in marriage, but why do you think someone who's that old in marriage will still have issues to the point of divorce at that age?
Well, I can't actually tell say for everybody, but I feel unresolved issues can lead to this kind of divorce. And sometime last week I was listening in the program, and the guest said something about the root foundation of the problem.
Mm.
Then when you don't deal with situations from the foundation, and over time it begins to build momentum, it's like a mountain that you can't climb over, because from when it was building you didn't deal with it. So unresolved issues will always come back to bite back, and that is the thing. And the other part where it also becomes very difficult again is because when these issues now arise, it is almost impossible to forgive. And once you are not able to forgive, definitely, just like what we say in divorce court, on unresolved issues, because you just couldn't find
Unreconcilable
unreconcilable
differences.
differences. You just because you
Yeah,
can't
go
find
ahead. They say that irreconcilable difference.
unreconcilable differences.
So
And I think
I totally
there's no
agree with you.
Is another thing, it's being used to something. Because, for instance, people that have been in marriage for long, you have understood a number of things, and so possibly you have said, oh, I don't like the way you drop this thing, or I don't like the way you do this thing, and then it keeps on happening, and then you just get fed up with talking about it, you get fed up with addressing it, and then it's there, and then you have an argument, or it happens and nobody's talking about it because it's one of those things, and then you have a number of issues that keep on piling that same way. And those are the things that basically, because if you listen to a number of older people in marriage, basically what do you hear the arguments now? Something where you don't do before, where you see they do and all that. Let me speak a little bit of pidgin. And then that's what caused that resentment. And I think with older people, older marriages, is that resentment over the years. You did something, and maybe you keep on doing that same thing, and I'm forgiving you, and I'm forgiving you. It builds resentment, and when couples are basically, they resent each other, there's really nothing again you can basically do. So I don't even know whether, maybe I think maybe growing out of love too as well, and when that comes with things that you're not trashing, basically you just get tired, like, man, I don't think this can work. I'm old, let's everybody just have their own peace and be on their own terms. Yeah.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you both. And that is the crust of the matter. This is why we keep saying, don't sweep things under the carpet. Communicate, talk about it, deal with it. And don't take your partner for granted. You see, that's another thing that brings
Yeah.
resentment.
Yeah.
Sometimes some men feel like, oh, this woman, after 30 years, where is she going?
Mm,
Or the,
mm.
the woman feels like, now you want to go start to find another girlfriend. I mean, I've got this one locked down. I've got him on lockdown. We've been married 40 years. Where is he going? And then they begin to take each other for granted. They don't do the things the other person like. They don't take time to study each other anymore. They are no longer intentional about the relationship. Marriage and relationships require work. They are no longer working at it. They are just, before you know, everybody now begin to grow apart. And
Yeah.
then you are hearing somebody who is 30 years, 40 years in marriage. The person is talking about divorce, and you're like, at this age, what do you want to see? I mean, what have you not seen? What is the thing you are seeing now? And I especially like the one that Omo mentioned about the fact that maybe these are things that somebody has been talking about before. You've been doing it, your partner forgave you, you keep doing it, your partner forgives you. You know how they say when you push a goat to the wall, it will just get
Mhm.
there, and then the threshold. Okay, I'm done. And the worst, let me say it today for older couples, if you've never heard it before, after the children leaves the house is the true test of the strength of your marriage.
Mhm.
Because as young couples, you're training children, you're running, you're building an empire, you're busy. Let's put it that way. You might not even see some things. If you see it, you can overlook it. There's tendency to want to overlook it. But once the children leave, and it is now only two of you inside the house, it's like starting over again. And at this point, all the weak points, all the weak areas of the marriage begin to show. There's nothing to communicate again. Because for some couple, their only conversation is school fees. So David went to school, and the teacher said they want to see us. Then his children, oh, they have a play date, and it's their birthday. Those are the conversation that they're having now. That's the only gist they have as partners. By the time the children grow and leave, there's nothing to talk about. Oh, there's no conversation anymore. There's no friendship. And at this point, anything can happen. Okay, all right, let's come back. Areas of conflict. Last week, we mentioned it. We mentioned a few of them. But I know that you people are a younger couple. So I want you people to tell us, as per these days, current ones. Maybe the ones we were talking about last week might have been old. Those people, they're as old as me. We are old in the game. But you people are a younger couple. Tell
I
us,
think
what are the areas that are bringing conflict, or areas that bring conflict in our generation today as far as relationship is concerned?
you want to go first.
I feel interests, different interests. Okay,
Okay.
or will I even say, maybe, like, should I say lifestyle or likes? Let me put it like likes. then let me ask that question, or let me not say like a question, what I mentioned earlier. So I'm this kind of person that I like late nights, or I not always. You get, just go hang out somewhere nice, have some
And
few
chill.
cocktails, chill,
Mm-hmm.
unwind, and then it gets dark. Just view, it's beautiful at night, and then you
Yes.
have this young man that he does not like such kind of things. And then again, and sometimes you like, maybe okay, maybe with your girlfriends, and then you go out and like, I don't like late nights, but if we are together, he's fine with it. And then if we're not together, it's like they're going to kidnap my wife. Somebody's going to catch her and all that. And then so, and I keep on saying, this is something, this is like an interest. This is somewhere how I unwind, and it's safe. You get. So those kind of things could be like, because I don't think maybe our older parents used to do all those kind of, maybe go and hang out, go and chill, or something else. Maybe they'll go and do it with family friends. But this one, you're going out like just chilling and all that. So I feel, well, I'm using us as an example. That's kind of one of the places where we have like differences. And you're like, no, if we're together, I'm like, what's the difference between me and you being together and me being with as in, or even if I'm alone, like I used to do that before and I did not die, nobody kidnapped me and all that. Because I don't feel, to me, I don't see them as valid fears. You get, but he sees that way. So give your own.
Well, anyways, growing up, I had a particular lifestyle. I'm not I'm not very used to staying out late. Late, I mean past 8, 9,
Please hold the bag.
like that. But it's not as if I don't know how to stay out late. But I have this consciousness behind me that once it's late, I have to be home somehow. I just have to be home. And most times I even tell my wife, there's this all this enjoyment you want to go and enjoy outside. You can enjoy it inside the house peacefully. You can bring it from the outside and bring it inside. I know the feeling is I know the feeling is different because you there's that feeling you get when you're outside. That's that. I'm beginning to want to come around the corner when it comes to that one because I know it's okay, it's a recurring thing that's every time it just happens. So there's this quarrel when it comes to late night. Okay, fine. But sorry, the state that we are in right now in this country, I also want to be I also want to be very conscious about I don't have plenty money for
Ransom.
thank you very much. So when I say that I don't like late night, it's not entirely that I don't like going out late at night. I'm just saying that okay, it's not completely my thing, and but that's just one of the many
Areas.
differences, one of the differences that we do have. But for young couples, what I've come to understand, especially with a couple of my friends that are also in the same marriage range
Yeah.
as we are, is they have very common issues with finance and with sex, and also to balance the home and work time. For us men, what I did experience with my own, giving a good example, is because at first when we got married, the first 2 3 months it was fun for us. Then all of a sudden I started thinking of, oh, I need to fix this, I need to fix this. I'm thinking about how I'm going to get this done. Thinking about how I'm going to get money for the next thing, not knowing that okay, while I'm doing this, I'm letting somebody behind. She's not thinking in the same wavelengths with me, and it caused a lot of issues
Yeah.
down the line. And with me growing up, I don't know, I'm not very confrontational with women. I don't like to I don't like to banter when it comes talking back and forth with women. I don't know how to do that. So when it comes, I'll be like, okay, slow down. Just give me space first. But all of those things were mistakes that I was making, not recognizing and not changing the fact that all of these things that I'm doing is making someone else uncomfortable, is changing someone's orientation about me, because all the promises I made pre-wedding is not what is happening in the wedding, in the marriage. So we, as my own gender now, we need to begin to recognize that when it comes to marriage, when it comes to especially young marriages, we need to begin to set priorities accordingly, and like, okay, this is important, but this is not necessary, this is not as important as this. It is good to make money, but come on, if you make the money and don't have a life to, you don't have a home to come home to, you don't have a life to come home to enjoy that money, it's rubbish. It's useless.
Finances.
So finance and sex and balancing work life is also very is key issues in young marriages.
Sorry, please let me talk a little bit more about finances. I think I've noticed that with a number of young relationships. So we are in this era now that both man and woman, we both work, and then you have women that contribute financially to the home, and then I think a number of times in some of these relationships now or marriages now, you find out that it's like the woman is carrying so much financially. And I don't know whether it's because now we say, okay, women should contribute. And we're not in the era that, oh, a man is solely the provider. We now have women that, okay, let me support, let me do this, let me do this. And it's like the younger men and I'm finding the ones that, oh, possibly have the so much money or are the entrepreneurs or they're making a lot of money and then they just relax and they like struggle and do it and let me just shalaye, let me enjoy myself. And it's bringing a lot of it's bringing a lot of trouble because I recently just heard about a separation, I think 6 years, and then immediately the person mentioned it to me, like so and so did this, and I'm like, are they divorced? And the person was like, yes, and I'm like, I just saw that coming. And why is it? Because I've studied this person. I'm not very close to this person. I don't think I've said more than 2 seconds of maybe pleasantry with this person, right? And we're not even in the same city, but I've studied her conversations on Facebook and I know the kind of things she posts. And then when I read them, I kind of put, I think a lot, and then I just deduce some meanings from what she is saying. And I see someone that is basically struggling for her family. And then the question I normally ask myself is, where is this person? I don't know what he's doing. Well, I know he was working at some point, blah, 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 blah. And it looked as if the burden of this family was resting on her shoulders. And I feel that is something that I think our generation needs to like check very well. The fact that, oh, the woman is supporting, because I feel finances is very, very important in homes, in marriages, and all that. The fact that this person is supporting doesn't mean I should cross my leg and sit, because it's possible that the woman might earn more than you because women can do basically a number of plenty things and all that. A man could have one and blow with that, but it's still very important that you don't leave that burden, because, well, I feel that it's majorly the man's responsibility, and then a woman should contribute. I don't feel a woman should fold her hands and sit and watch another person, you're the one doing everything, and basically, but there should be a large responsibility on the man. Not so, if it happens that the woman is majorly the one with the most resources, let's have a sit down. Okay, this is the percentage, this is this, so that one person is not overburdened with that fact. And I know with women, once you have a woman providing, taking care of everything, man, respect. It's not, I don't think, I just feel it's not in a woman's place to do a number of all those things, because it makes her lose a number of respect. It's very few that could, okay, put their head down, say, okay, I have a head and let me submit and all that. It makes, I feel it makes the whole marriage thing, the submission thing, difficult on the part of the woman when she has to, because if she's doing everything, what is she submitting to exactly? Really, what is she really submitting to? My view, I might be wrong. I rest my case. This is
I think that the issue of I don't know, is there really something as areas of conflicts for young marriages? I think it cuts across board, because like what you're talking about now, sex and finance, even in older marriages, there are things that they still battle with. It's just that as marriages grow older, these things begin to take a different shape and a different form, So say a young couple might have areas of conflict with sex, but maybe spouse A wants maybe different styles and everything, but as the marriage grows older, I think it's still the same sex that is the issue, but the demands under sex just kinds of changes. So maybe right now it's no longer different styles, is just the fact that I want, maybe one party wants sex more. It doesn't even matter the kind of style. Right now, I will take anything, whether it's up and down, but I just want it more often. So I think it cuts across board. These areas of conflict cut across board, whether it's a young marriage or a day one marriage or an old marriage. For me, I think anything can be an area of conflict. Really, it can just be anything. As a matter of fact, it now seems as if, as the marriage progresses, the older the marriage gets, the more the simplest of things can even can even cause an issue. So it's like a curve that goes up then comes back down. Marriage begins big issues. I want to go this place, this person is flamboyant, lifestyle issues. Then at peak of marriage, it's not much of all these big things, just the little things. Then dive again. So any area can be an issue of conflict when it comes to in the marriage space. So I think it's the same thing though, whether it's young or old, though. It just takes different styles, different names. But at the core, it's still it's still those same issues that we get to battle with. So that's what I think. Mama, are you here?
I wanted you people to talk very well. I like the arguments. I tell you one truth. Omoeme hit a very, very important matter. Look at it now. And it's both ways. I'm going to analyze it for you in both ways. In the ways that, number one, the fact that women now are even more productive, more financially independent, is also becoming a negative to relationships and conflicts. Because in those days, and I'm not against women empowerment, of course, people who know me know that I am one for ensuring that a woman gets to the peak of her life and career. I don't support that, oh, you are a man or you're a woman, whatever it is that you can do it. But at the same time, in those days when our mothers didn't have financial independence, they were more submissive. And these days, you talk one, the woman can go and rent her own house. She can pay her own bills. In fact, she was in your house picking her bill. So what is there now? Let her just go and live on her own and be picking her bill. That's there. The other part of it is that we now have young men, like Omar was saying, who just consciously want to be lazy and laid back and want the women to provide, want the women to bear the burden of the family, but still want to be Lord and King over the women. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Men must understand that once you begin to submit your responsibility, then you're also submitting your authority. Responsibility and authority go together. You cannot submit your responsibility and then expect authority. And nobody should come and tell me that you're a Bible woman, you're a Christian woman. It should not matter. My darling, no matter how tongue speaking the woman is, it might not matter at the beginning, but as time goes on and she understands that this man has left everything for her, she will start disrespecting. The word Omoye may use is resentment. Resentment will come. It will come. So, and I'm not saying this to say a woman cannot earn more than her man, but still be the man in that relationship. Still stand to take the responsibility. I remember my brother-in-law said many years back, he said, even if he's earning 100,000 and his wife is earning 1 million, He will still buy his wife shoe from his 100,000 naira salary, because he knows that his wife will value that 10,000 naira shoe he bought for her much more than the 500,000 shoe she can afford for herself. And if a man understands that about the mentality of women, then the conflict around money will reduce. Women like to chop their man money. Okay, let's move from there. Not because they cannot
It's
make
both
money,
ways,
but a
oh.
woman is
It's
wired.
both ways.
In Igbo land, they call women
It goes both ways.
Oriaku, means the it's both ways, but I'm not telling you how it's supposed to be originally. Now we have women, and this is where I talk to sisters. A woman is a helper. If you see that the burden is too much for a man, if I don't wait until the burden becomes too much, contribute. We are saying don't take the responsibility, but contribute. Don't sit down, fold your hand and say, his money is our money, my money is my money. No, 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 no. That is not a togetherness marriage. But if you people want to do something, you have a project in the family, you want to work together, you are planning something, at least let daddy bring 60%, let mommy bring 40. Let daddy bring 70, let mommy also be able to bring 30. But daddy should not fold his hand and wait for mommy to bring 80 and you bring 20. Or even say mommy should carry the issues and conflicts in the relationship. But like Titi said, it's a conflict spot. Sex and finance are conflict spots on both old and, in fact, let me tell you a story that might sound funny. I remember when I was young in secondary school, so this is many, many years back now, a couple that were living upstairs, were living in this block of flats. They were living upstairs, and at that time, I think their son, their only child, was about 19 years old. And they were married for over 6 years, so they had this boy. They were a waiting couple for over 6 years, so they had this boy. So their marriage had been like 25, 26 years old at that point in time. And one night, around 1 a.m., they fought from upstairs to downstairs. My father, as a good man of God, went to settle matter between his neighbors and did not return home till around 3:30. I'm usually the child that likes to sit and wait for my dad. So I'm in the sitting room and I'm waiting for him. Because he's not come home, I don't go to bed. Yes, I know I'm a daddy's girl. You people should leave it. Anyways, so when he comes in, I'm like, Daddy, what happened? Why are these people, fighting? This very sweet. I'm not talking about people that don't have money, or they have money, everything. Why are they fighting? And Daddy said, you don't even know how to tell me, Joe, that the people they are baya. Can you imagine those old people? They are fighting because of sex. They fought. I'm not joking, physical fight from upstairs to downstairs. On top of say, I want to do, and I know they do. I want to do, I know they do. Let's go to Jerusalem. I'm not going. I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood. It's what caused problem from upstairs to downstairs. Even for people who are that old. So I agree also with Titi that it's a problem on both the old and the young, which we must guide against. Or how would I put it? How do we guide against? But really, let's come to it. How do we guide against this issue not becoming a problem? First of all, sex. Let's talk about it. Must it always be all the time? One, is there a justifiable reason why somebody cannot be in the mood, or why there's headache, or why somebody is tired? What are the other excuses they say women used to give? I'll start with Titi, then I'll come back to Samuel and Sweetness. Titi, tell us, are there justification for some of these that are causing problem?
I'm tired. I'm not in the mood. I have a headache. I'm busy. It has been hectic today. you know, um, most times, most times, and I mean more than 90% of the times, especially when it comes to issues with sex, it's not really the sex that is the issue. That's what I've come to realize. It's not the sex that is the issue. One of the major issues is miscommunication. You know, when you don't communicate, it now trickles down, and it's not just sex alone. Oh, it trickles down to every and anything. Earlier we had established that it can be anything that would cause conflict in the relationship. So one that is like communication is at the top of it all, and once that communication is broken, everything, the crumbles, it just trickles down like that. And sex is one of the things that takes the heat the most. Sex, finance, and it goes like that. So most times it's not the sex that is the issue, it is communication. So the couple, they are not communicating, or they are miscommunicating. So when you deal with communication issue, you are able to tackle most of these things. Because I mean, we live in a world where the world has become a global village, a very fast-paced world. That's where we're living. There's so many challenges that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So you can pick a number if you want to. You can pick a number of reasons why sex won't happen today or tomorrow or the day after, for that matter. But if you understand the challenges the other person is going through, you understand that this person has been working from morning till evening. You understand that even to get home was war. The number of hours she has spent in traffic, or he has spent in traffic, was war. Then you would be able to adjust your expectations, number one. Then if the other party understands that this thing is a need, is food. somehow is food, and a man has to eat, a woman has to eat. If you view it like that, like, this thing is food, then you understand where the other party is coming from. So like I said, it's an understanding issue, communication issue. So when you begin to see outbursts of conflict here and there in a marriage relationship, just know that communication is at the bottom. At the bottom of it, they are just miscommunicating. They're not understanding themselves, And most times, when initially we're talking about why a couple, maybe like 40 something years, and they just grow apart and divorce like that. Most times, most couples are not growing in the marriage relationship. So when they are not growing in the marriage relationship, of course, see, there's nothing. A marriage cannot work on auto. No marriage works on auto. You just have to keep working at it. Yeah, imagine you are flying an airplane, and you are flying, and the pilot just says, "Don't worry now, we are cruising on auto. I just need to relax a bit." Won't you just start screaming and start So that's just the way marriage is. No marriage works on auto. So if once you put your marriage on auto, you are going to crash, definitely. That one is definite. So that's just it. I think communication is just one of the major challenges. What do you guys think? Samuel, what do you think? Because we want to hear from the guys.
Okay, so go on. The thing about sex for guys is, okay, let my wife take this. I'm coming. Just give me a moment, please.
All right then.
Okay, so I think with sex and possibly myself, either ways, is that I feel a number of things actually affect how sex happens. Oh, you have a bad day, you have headache, you have this and that, blah blah blah, excuses. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's not like these excuses are not something that we can actually just ignore and push to the side and just do it. And so possibly there are things I have in my mind that I feel, oh, we need to resolve, because
Hmm.
why are we having sex when there's this thing that
When
is there
there's
in my
fire on
mind?
the mountain.
Yes, you understand? And I think I understand that men don't think that way, because I feel for women is we must clear everything before we. But for men, they can be vexing with you, and the next thing they are being erect and wanting to have
Samuel,
sex.
is that true? They
You
say it's not
get?
like that for
And
guys.
so it has to be a point that, oh, if we're having an issue, for instance, I think maybe that would affect that. Let me speak from my own side. If we're having an issue,
Hmm.
man, I'm not thinking about sex. Like, let's trash the issue, and then when we
Yeah.
trash it, then I can be aligned to that. Not that, oh, I'm not happy with you, and then you expect, yeah, it cannot work.
But
There's
must
no
it
how.
always be like that, Auntie? Must it
No,
I
always
heard
honestly,
that.
be
I
like
heard
that?
that.
with me, I
I heard
can't
that.
be not be happy with
Apologies, my
you, and then
network.
I'll be opening my leg. How is that
I
gonna
was
work?
told that when
Emotionless.
brother comes like that, it means that matter have finished in their mind. But how about the matter finishing in the mind of the sister first too?
Hmm.
Yeah. This thing is.
Samuel, tell us, so we don't understand. Please explain.
Yes.
Break it down. Break it down.
Let me explain it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to sex for guys, it has nothing to do with the.
That way.
Sorry, it has nothing to do with the quarrel. Point is,
Mm.
point is,
No wonder.
point is, if because you said something about communication earlier, I wanted to take a cue from that. The whole point to sex is not just I wake up in the morning, I wake up and let's just do. I don't see sex as that. If I go to the office in the morning and she has gone to the office as well, and we're communicating maybe on via any of the social media platform, there is supposed to be some sort of communications that lead to that point. That even when you do get home and you know you are bodily tired, you know that you need to satisfy whatever it is that you set in motion. Now, I call it the flirtation mode because it's not
But
enough.
what if you have not set anything in motion throughout the
It won't
whole
work.
day?
It
Zero,
won't work.
flat.
It won't work. It's just
Ah.
you just
But
have
that's
somebody
when they
lying on the
expect that
bed.
it will work now. Eh?
No, that you just have somebody lying on the bed there, and there's no. I don't see that as sex. Variably, I'll even call that one rape self
Jesus.
because of what use is it that we just have sex and there's no it's more or less like a communion between both of you.
Because
Hey,
for the woman, if there's been communication for the woman, then it wouldn't be an area of conflict.
Easily.
You know,
It won't be
if there's been communication, it won't be an area of conflict for the woman. So something must have gone wrong somewhere.
Yes, this is where it is a conflict for women. Now you say, honey, I want 500,000, and honey say, I don't have 500,000. I'm sorry, and if you don't find the 500,000, there's no stimulating hormone there that is going to lead to that.
But that's not me, right?
But somehow you need to find a common ground. You need to find those things that
Yeah.
that I don't want to say trick her into that mood because it will look like you're taking advantage. But
how about not just saying no, there's no 500k? How about taking it, breaking it down, and say, see the reason why there's no 500k? But you know now, you know how you were doing this thing before you got this chick. You know.
Sister Titi, how about saying there's no 500k, but sis, can you manage 200k?
Can you exactly?
But when you flat out say, 500k, where do you expect me to get it from? Do you think I'm plucking money from the trees? Go and come back. Go and come back. She'll be waiting for him.
Auntie C, I understand that there's this one and there's this one, but me and you know that when it comes to your agenda, it's almost impossible to say this is what I want and you don't get anything less than that. Anything less than that is not equal to it.
That's not true.
We are not that hard. We are not that hard.
I know
the effort count. The thoughts count.
Okay. Now it looks like we are ganging up. We are ganging up on the only man in the house. But
he's taking it well. He's not doing badly, really. I understand your perspective better.
But seriously, it is really not fair to have unresolved issues and expect magic, in the bedroom.
Yes.
Let's be sincere with ourselves. If there are unresolved issues, it's better to resolve them. It's better to like Sam said, some men just do what they call hit and run. That's how I call it, Sha. Just hit and run. the woman is not there. There's no emotion. There's no feeling. I like the word that he
Auntie
just used, the
C,
man of God, communion. I want to
Auntie
post
C,
it so that our customer, our viewers will hear.
Auntie C,
Communion.
have you noticed something?
Communion is an intertwining. Sister, stop
Yes,
lying there like log
true.
of food. It's a communion. Oh, yeah, talk, bro Samuel.
Auntie C, have you noticed that when you have an argument and you make up, the sex is actually very different.
Hi, bro, don't go to that side.
Rema.
It's true because now both of you are on the same wavelength. Yeah, now
Makeup sex is actually more interesting.
it's even more. But I'm not saying that you should be quarreling more, as that be looking forward.
You can have it as a bad habit.
No, we don't that. But I'm just saying that it's actually bonds the couples together more when they're on the same wavelength and enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
Do you know, because you use the word communion,
True.
I'm very serious about this. I love that word. It's like even when we want to take Holy Communion in church, you know
Yeah.
how we will first worship, we will pray. They will even tell us to pray if there's any sin, check yourself, clean your heart before the Lord, before you come to the Lord's table, so you not eat it unworthily. So some men are eating this thing unworthily, and some women are eating this thing unworthily.
True.
What it means. Oh my God. You see, there's a revelation
Rema.
that just come upon me.
Hey,
This is Rema.
see Rema flowing easily.
Some brothers and sisters are eating this thing unworthily
Oh, what did
because they don't
Hey,
understand
yeah.
communion.
forgiveness?
And you must come to that communion table with clean hands and clean mind.
What?
And let there be an intertwining
It's a
Wonderful.
of the Holy
Hmm.
Spirit. I'm speaking in tongues. Oh my God, and come back. Reverend Samuel Okereme just released. He said it's released. So we cannot come with uncleared issues. We cannot come with resentment. We cannot come with bitterness and expect it to flow. In fact, I know a couple that it's as bad as when the man comes to the woman, he doesn't even get an erection. If he's with another woman, he does. It's a psychological thing.
Yeah.
It's a psychological thing. Because the brain is so filled with bitterness, with resentment, with anger against this woman, with
Now shuts
brain
down.
about this one. Yeah. So the body shuts down, the body responds to the brain.
Mm-hmm.
Body shuts down. But when he meets another person out there who he doesn't know, a stranger, his body responds. It's as bad as that. So, they always say, oh, for a man, it's not emotional. It is emotional for both, please.
For everybody, actually,
It
it's
is
emotional.
emotional. Men might be able to quickly work on their emotional, work past it because of the need. But women, being that we are very emotional people, we keep holding on to their emotions, So it looks like the women are the one who are crying more of no, because things are not resolved. But it's on both sides. For it to be a true communion, we must clear and resolve all conflicts. Talk about the issues. I keep saying it on this platform. There's nothing like too much talking. Talk about it. Don't shy away from talking about it. If you raise the issue at that point in time and it's not making sense, leave it for a while, come back to it. But don't sweep it under the carpet. You sweep it under the carpet today, it's going to come back when you are 40 years old in marriage. And then you start hearing that someone who has been married for 40, 46 years
Yeah.
divorced. And you say, kilo shele.
Ow.
After all these years, these are unresolved issues that were swept under the carpet. Some people will tell you, oh, overlook. If it is worrying you, sister, don't overlook it. If it's worrying you, brother, don't overlook it. It's an issue. If it's something you can actually overlook, then it will not be an issue because it means you will never have to talk about it. You never have to be bothered about it. It's not become a point of problem to you. But if it is disturbing you, if it is worrying you, if it is a problem, don't keep quiet and let us just be managing. Okay, they say we should manage. It's marriage now. It's not perfect anywhere. Hello, you're going to get to a point of resentment and bitterness.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, it's no longer marriage. You now have two people who are either strangers just cohabiting, or two
Roommates.
people who have grown very much apart and are just leading different lives in the name of marriage, even if they're answering Mr. and Mrs. Anyways, okay. Omoyema, you've asked your question. Say you had a question today, Abby. You've already
Yeah.
asked the question. You are talking about interest. So let's talk about it before we close. I know our time is up. Our different interests. When we come into marriage, there has to be how do you call it? What do we do? We hey, I'm looking for the word. The word have run away from me. You concede grounds. There's a word for it. Compromise.
Okay. Compromise.
Chai. Now, wow, you should forgive me. You know,
Vacation.
we compromise. We compromise. There are some things you might not like that your partner likes. So you drop some things, you pick up some things. You understand what I mean? And you know, funny thing, God does not put two people who are alike together. That's what I've always come to see. It's always opposites that attract each other. The sister will be very, very quiet. They'll go and marry one sanguine. They'll be talking 10,000 times a day. Or the brother will just be this one that likes to be inside the house. Then go and marry one sister that like to go out like my sister Moya.
It's not every time. It's not every time.
I have a couple that, you know, the sister have complained that my husband don't like to go out. My husband never likes to go out. I always have to go to party alone. And this is somebody, the girl is, I be the woman, she's the woman, is somebody that when it comes to being out there, she's out there. Not just because of her personality, but the kind of business she does. She meets people.
Okay.
She has to be at events. You know, that's where she gets customers and all those kind of things. And uncle, Monday to Friday, go and go to work and make money. Saturday, sleep at home and rest. Sunday, go to church. This is uncle's lifestyle. This is his pattern.
Boring.
You know, and she's like, oh my God, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired. But I told her, I said, look, both of you must learn to concede. There are times when you now have to sit at home some Saturdays and just be laid back and stay with him in bed. If you say today we're not going anywhere, lie down in the bed all Saturday. And there are times when bro has to step out with you and go out with you because he knows that this is important to you. This is what the beauty of marriage is. But if one person is their interest and on their own, because we're all brought up in different ways, talk about our cultures in Africa, what is believed here and what is not believed here. You know, I will give you one small, it might sound simple, somebody's here. And I mentioned it last week, and somebody said, huh? Really? Where I come from in Isha land, having sex in the afternoon is a taboo.
Yes.
Oh.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, look at Isha girl say, huh?
Wow.
Yeah. They say to the point that if you make love in the afternoon and you get pregnant from it, the child will be abnormal.
Oh.
Wow.
To that extent.
Not tell me.
So you can imagine that I knew that as a girl before I got married. And then I marry a man who, where he comes from, whether it's afternoon,
Doesn't
morning,
make
evening,
sense.
night, rain or sun, night or shine,
Everything is holy.
all day, holy unto the Lord. All meat,
Every time is holy unto the
all
Lord.
meat is holy unto the Lord, and the Lord is good all the time. So we let now start telling him, hey, Uncle, no, don't touch me, they have to know where I come from. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. There are some ideologies we need to throw away, and there are some interests we need to pick in the interest of our marriage for the joy of the partner. Let it not be one way. The mistake most men make is, oh, she's the woman. She has to learn my ways. I'm the one that married her. I paid her bride price. She has to, how do you call it? Succumb to me and compromise to me and learn my ways and become me.
Of me.
Hello, it's both ways. It's both ways.
Yeah.
We must both lose ground and gain ground to be able to balance. If not, we continue to have areas of conflict. If the way you raise your voice and talk, me, I get big voice. So when I'm excited, my voice is loud. When I'm quarreling, my voice is loud. If you don't understand, you think I'm fighting all the time. Just because I have a big voice. Do you understand it? Don't now say, hey, this woman, every time she's quarreling. No, that's me. You have to understand me. But there are sometimes when this me, if you see where they quiet, you no go believe. Because there's a time to be quiet. That's it.
Mm.
That's it. I cannot keep saying, oh, I was born with a big voice, so my voice should always be loud.
True.
Mm. Mm.
True. Mm.
And that's how I was brought up. It's what is the
That's the way
strength.
I am.
And this is how
Mm.
I am.
That's how
And
I am.
you cannot come
Take
now
it
and
or
be
leave
changing
it.
me. Once you become that rigid person that is not willing to lose ground or gain ground, then conflict will continuously arise. You both will be like you are doing tug of war from different angles. So Uncle Sam, the money there, the money not there. If I find place where they no go cost money, if na only to just go sit on top of grass, they watch moon as the moon they come up. As auntie like to get fine.
The thing
That's
is,
what
when it comes to this stuff, I'm beginning to unlearn some things and learn other things.
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's why.
same this year.
And that thing is, and because I made a conscious decision to wanting to do that.
After a lot of conflict.
Mm.
The thing
But
is,
that's progress. That's progress.
the thing
I
is,
commend you for that.
I the first time we got married, when we had one conflict, I told her that, see, I didn't get into this thing to just want to leave it halfway. I want to learn some things and change some things. So, in order for this to happen, I need to begin to unlearn most of the things that I learned as a guy, as a young lad,
Mm.
as back in university days. It doesn't work entirely in marriage. It doesn't work entirely in
Yeah.
marriage. So you have to unlearn some things, learn new things, adapt. And what again I've come to understand is that when it comes to marriage, marriage follows three cycles of harmony, disharmony, repair. Then you're back to harmony again. Now, if all of this doesn't happen at some point inside the marriage, you just find out that one thing happens and it just crashes
Because
automatically.
it means you people have been pretending.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
It means you
exactly.
people have been pretending. I met a couple who said one time, "Oh, we have been married for 20 years. We've never had a fight." Ah, yeah,
Lie,
yeah.
big lie,
I looked at them.
big
I
lie.
looked at them. I said, "This is a time bomb, a ticking time bomb waiting to
And
explode."
once that's all. Oh.
Mama,
Yes.
that one is not even true.
You
They
know
have
what?
quarreled, and she's just
Some
ashamed
people
to come
sugarcoat
out and
it.
say it. They've
Because
quarreled.
one person must be, my mom will say one person must be a dummy or a doll baby, teddy bear. Because I don't think that is even
I don't
possible.
even think that's possible because maybe she have probably collect one or two slaps, and she know that if she comes out and say it, she will collect more slap. It's not
Now, I
possible.
think
There's no
people
way that's possible.
sometimes people under the pressure to portray a perfect
Perfect
marriage.
family.
Perfection.
It's unnecessary really, because a woman means they're not perfect. So why do you feel a marriage should even be perfect? You work towards perfection. And then
Exactly.
because I feel our flaws, our conflicts are what
What brings us together?
builds us to be that perfect couple. Somebody that you can, or couples that can actually say, "Oh, I've gone through this thing. This is okay. I got through this, and these were the challenges." And then use it as examples and teach other people, not something that, oh,
Imagine
we don't
having
quarrel, we
two
don't
Two Mike Tysons in the house.
not the work.
The husband is a Mike Tyson, the wife is a Mike Tyson. So at what point are they going to resolve the quarrel?
You
That's
both.
it.
Everybody will enter the ring. But the thing is that one person will probably, in not all of the cases, there are some situations that will happen like this. My wife is hot-headed, I'm the cool person. And there are some other cases like it happens like this. I'm the one that wants to push. What is wrong with you? This cannot happen. So if there's nobody to, if my wife is having an issue with somebody outside and I tell her, honey, calm down, and she doesn't calm down, there's problem. Oh. Because you need to have that one person in your corner, especially your spouse, that tells you in this situation, take it slow, and you listen. Not because you just want to. I don't want to care what you're saying in that moment. You don't even know what your spouse is saying. You just say, okay, slow down first. But the thing is that many people do not know how to slow down in resolving conflicts. When the situation starts the first time and you are both at loggerheads, someone needs to slow down and say, okay, take a breather. Let's calm down first. Let's talk about this thing. Then you now begin to find out that it's just pride that is making both of you shout.
Dry pride, according to one of my friends' mom. Drive,
Unnecessary ego that is making both of
because
you
you'll be wondering why two people who have already seen the nakedness of each other is even prouding for each other.
for
What
each
are we
other. Like,
prouding for again, to your long?
I don't like the statement we men make. I'm the man in the house. Sorry, what's the head of the house without the neck? You're useless.
What are you heading over? All right, my time is up. Let me not keep keeping you people here. I'm enjoying the gist so much. Our network was very earlier on, so I'm tempted to want to push it further. But I know you guys have other things to do. I don't want to hold you on, but this is a fantastic conversation. Thank you so much for.
No
One
problem,
thing I
mama.
like about both of you is when you come here, I get down to earth conversation. This is what this show is about. Me, I'm not here to pretend. I'm not here to tell you people that have it all put together. Some people might even be turning their nose up at me, say, this one that is talking self. I am married. It's not perfect. It's true. We are all working towards perfection. And as long as none of us drop the ball, we continue to push together. We will have a testimony tomorrow.
Yeah.
It is when one person gives up or the two gives up, because sometimes one person has given up. And me, I'm not ashamed to say that in my marriage, I'm the one person that's always giving up. If I tell you people how many times that I have packed, how many times I have run away, but I have a husband that is always catching me and dragging me and running
Yeah.
after me and
Oh my
hustling me
God.
back.
Oh my
Whatever
God.
it takes to hustle me back to his corner, he will do it. I was
One
teasing
of
him.
our responsibility. We must hustle to make it work.
And when people finish
That's
hustling us,
man
people
that
should
has
hustle to
sense,
keep
bruh.
us. Let's leave the
Yeah.
conversation so we can
Yeah.
move on now, because so sis start feeling like you are feeling busy. You are the man. But kudos to all the men who are doing what it takes to keep
Yeah.
their marriage going. My husband being the first, and any other husband lining up behind him. Kudos to all the women who are doing all it takes to be true
Thank
helpmates,
you.
and to, because yes, it's not perfect anywhere, but we are all working at it, and we will still be here as Christ tarries to keep showing an example of what it means to have unconditional love in our lives and in our home and in our marriages. Thank you so much again for your time. Thank you,
Thank you, mama. Thank
my
you, mama.
freedom expression. Thank you for always being there. I love you plenty. Thank you, OC and Omo. Thank you
We
so much.
love
Thank you.
you.
God bless you. Thank you, viewers who were able
Anytime.
to
Thank
connect.
you.
Apologies again for all of our network issues. Like I said, I'm on vacation, but I just must connect with you guys. So talking to you from the beach, there was a lot of internet issues. But anyways, see you again next week with another spicy edition of Conversation with the Love Crusader. We are talking about love and separation. Why should there be separation in love? Is it necessary to separate sometimes, even if we love each other? You don't want to miss that edition. And see you next Sunday. Until then, have a love filled week. I love you all. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank